Hello everyone, and welcome to my presentation. Today, I'll show you how to describe data clearly and naturally, the kind of language that makes charts, numbers, and trends come alive. When you describe data, your goal isn't to list numbers, it's to tell a story about what the data means. Let's start with the main types of charts you'll often see. A bar chart compares categories like sales in different countries. A line graph shows change over time, for example, how prices increased between January and May. A pie chart shows parts of a whole, great for describing percentages. And a table lists exact figures for detailed reference. So which one should I use? It depends on what story you want to tell. If you want to compare groups, use a bar chart. If you want to show change, use a line graph. And if you want to show proportions, choose a pie chart. Now let's talk about trend language. When you describe what's happening in a graph, focus on the trend, the direction, and the degree of change. Use verbs like rise, increase, grow, fall, drop, decline, fluctuate, and remain stable. And adverbs like sharply, slightly, gradually, dramatically, steadily, significantly, noticeably, and moderately. Now let's describe the data I've just shown you using some of the language we practiced, focusing on the direction and degree of change. This bar chart compares the number of students taking online courses in 3 countries. As you can see, Egypt has the highest number at about 50 students, while Yemen has the lowest, around 25. Jordan falls in between with 35. Overall, the difference between Egypt and Yemen is quite significant. What about the line graph? Well, this line graph shows how average study hours changed from January to May. We can see that hours increased steadily from January to March, reaching a peak of 8.6. Then in April, the number fell slightly, and by May it dropped sharply to 5 hours, the lowest point of the period. So the overall trend shows a rise and then a sudden decline. Now, let's turn to the pie chart. This pie chart shows the platforms students use most for learning English online. Ethiel represents the largest share at 35%, followed by MX at 30%. TX and LX make up smaller portions, 20 and 15%, respectively. We can say that Ethiel leads the group, while LX accounts for the smallest share. Finally, this table summarizes the total number of online learners from January to May. The numbers rose gradually from January to March, stayed stable in April, and then fell dramatically in May. Overall, we can describe the pattern as a period of steady growth followed by a clear decline. That sounds clear. But what is the process? Follow the structure you see on the board. Don't just list data. Guide your listener through it. Also, when speaking, your tone guides the listener. Always stress the key number or trend word, not every figure. When you describe data with structure, stress, and confidence, you turn numbers into meaning. And that's what makes a presentation memorable. Thank you for listening and happy learning.